Greetings, family, and welcome to another edition of KSOL Black Talk Radio, the new black media. Well, dreadlocks, cornrows, and other natural hairstyles are now protected under California state law. Okay, family, you guys remember this video where Brother Man had to cut off his dreads right before the match. And now we have a lot of brothers that's about to voice their opinions. You can read along. There is no audio, so I'm going to stop talking right now, but please read along. If you want to skip to my message, you can go to 210. So family, I know you didn't hear any sound because there was no sound during that moment, but yet California on Wednesday became the first state to protect citizens from discrimination based on hairstyle, a law greeted with both enthusiasm and a touch of dismay by black Americans, traditional black Americans, American descendants of slaves. Quote, "I'm not going to say we shouldn't have a law that allows us to wear our hair the way it naturally is, but it's also sad that in 2019 we have to have one in the first place," unquote, said Tiffany Dina Lofton, Youth and College Director of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. "It's a step in the right direction," she said, noting that the NAACP has monitored cases in which there was discrimination based on a natural hairstyle. But, quote, "but a piece of paper doesn't change things overnight. There's a stigma often associated with the natural hair of black and brown people that needs to change." Well, family, before I continue, because I don't want to lose a train of thought, let me just state that, first of all, the video that you had to watch again of the wrestler who had his dreads cut off before the match, we all know that was despicable. They would have a heart attack if black people demanded that a white person cut off their long hair, their long ponytail, or whatever the case may be. They would find that offensive, but they have no problem doing that to traditional black Americans. That's so problematic. Very, very problematic. So, before I continue, let me give Governor Gavin Newsom of California a huge congratulations and major kudos for being bold and courageous to do the right thing. Hopefully, this sets a precedent across the rest of the United Snakes of America. Because after all, hair is a part of you. But I digress. In signing Senate Bill 188 before the 4th of July, California Governor Gavin Newsom created the nation's first law to make it more difficult for employers and schools to penalize individuals for wearing their hair in a non-European style, which includes cornrows, afros, and dreadlocks. Senate Bill 188, also known as the Crown Act, which stands for creating a respect, an open workplace for natural hair, becomes law in the wake of a variety of incidents nationwide that put a spotlight on the issue. Now, before I continue, let me state for the record that in other racist nations, and just know that this is a fact, this isn't something I'm just pulling out the side of my neck, but in other racist nations, South Africa, as a prime example, has these same issues going on where Europeans are trying to dictate to the natural people, the inhabitants, the original people of that nation. They're trying to dictate to them how they too should wear their hair. And that's totally foul and way out of line. Because black people, we've never done that to someone else. Ever. That's another example of how we are different than they are, when they always try to make the claim that we're all alike. And I've been telling you that no, we're not. No, we are not. But I digress. Last summer, a 6-year-old boy in Florida was denied entry to his school because of his dreadlocks. And you guys remember him. I did a video on him. Here's little man. He couldn't go to school because of, why? His hair. They had to use some type of an excuse to keep young black children out of school, because after all, we're a threat to their very existence. We are their boogeyman. But I digress. So last summer he was denied entry to his school because of his dreadlocks, and in December, New Jersey high school wrestler Andrew Johnson had to cut his dreadlocks ringside before being allowed to compete. And again, this is the despicable act right before your very eyes. An Alabama woman asked the Supreme Court to weigh in on a long-running case resulting from her being fired from a call center job in 2010 because she refused to cut her dreadlocks. Quote, when is enough going to be enough? Unquote, Clinton Stanley Sr., the father of the Florida 6-year-old, wrote in an email to USA Today. What all do we have to go through for people to know that we have a right to human rights? It's crazy that in 2019 that children cannot get an education because of their hair. And that's exactly what I was stating earlier. Now, before I move on into this video, the reason why I have this picture posted as I do this video, and it is from the Roland Martin Unfiltered show, is because it's very pertinent to this message. Number one, it leaves the website and or a telephone number in case you find yourself being racially discriminated against because of your hair. You can use this information as a resource. So this particular picture here is for a purpose. Use it if it's necessary. Patricia Oconta, a lawyer for the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, has been working on Stanley's case. She said the School of Books Christian Academy in Apopka, Florida, has yet to change its policies. Stanley's son changed schools. Now, family, I've also made this statement before too, and you already know this already. There's definitely something in the water and or the air in Florida. They have so many issues going on where race is concerned. There's no possible way people in America can say that they don't see color or that there's no racism. Only the dumb, stupid, and ignorant still continue to say those things. But I digress. Quote, bills like the one in California send an important message that hair policing shouldn't be tolerated and can be a model for other states, Okanta said. Quote, there's a long history here, one that associates our natural style with being unkempt or unclean or unprofessional, and that needs to be tackled. Allowing someone to grow their hair out of their head the way they want to should be fine. I agree. As long as your hair doesn't stink, smell, or otherwise cause a major distraction, I think it should be fine. But look, in this day and age, black people, we have to constantly see on the workforce Europeans, both male and female, come to work with rainbow hairstyles, with purple hair, with blue hair, yellow hair, whatever the case may be, and they get away with it. Their hair is long, lanky, and sometimes resembles dog hair, but we have to deal with that too. So how are they to judge us on hair of all things? But I digress. And California State Senator Holly Mitchell, not pictured here, a Democrat of Los Angeles, the author of SB188, said she was cleaning her house when she stumbled across photos of herself during her high school graduation in the early 1980s. Quote, I had my hair in natural braids, and it dawned on me that that's the way I had my hair all throughout high school without any issues, Mitchell said. Now, had I been made to feel badly about the way I had my hair, that could have easily impacted my school experience in a negative way. Mitchell, who continues to wear her hair in braids, said the law is simply meant to prevent black people from being, quote, victims of a Eurocentric view of beauty and professionalism. Celebrities from the worlds of sports and entertainment opt for such styles. These include actress Lupita Nyong'o, who wears her hair in a short afro, NFL free agent Chris Ivory, whose dreadlocks are often a tempting way for opponents to tackle him, and Rep. Ayanna Pressley, a Democrat of Massachusetts, who wears her locks in twists. Quote, straightening poses health risks. We shouldn't have to sacrifice our hair or our health to conform to non-natural hair because standards have been changing, says Emma Karikayasan, founder of Miles Tells, a consultancy that works on diversity training in schools and business settings. Karikayasan, who prefers to call natural hair by the term Afro-textured hair, said the issue of hair discrimination goes beyond style and to health concerns. Between the use of irons and chemical relaxers, many people I know, and myself included, have suffered burns on the scalp and hair that fell out and wouldn't grow back. And black people, we know this to be entirely the truth, that those things do make our hair very bad. By relaxing our hair, making it straight to conform to European standards of beauty, and or bleaching it, straightening it, whatever we do to make it conform to European standards, our health is at risk. I hope you hear this and understand this, black people. Well, for decades, Rosario Schuler has touted the beauty and advantages of non-straight hairstyles for black people. The founder of Oh, My Nappy Hair, which has salons in Atlanta and Los Angeles and Oakland in California, said SB188 represents a big victory on her long road. Quote, "We have all heard the stories about brothers and sisters who have been stigmatized because of their hair," she said. "Years ago, I said to myself, one day I'll be able to take a shower and get dressed and get out of the house with my hair the way it is, naturally. And that day seems to have come." Well, family, before I go, I have a couple more statements I want to make before I close this out. Again, this picture, thanks to Roland Martin, is being used as a source for you if you find yourself being discriminated against because of your hair. There is a number to call and or a website to visit for more information. Lastly, black people, we're constantly showing exactly who we are. I take you back to ancient history, to the time of the ancient Egyptians, who always wore their hair naturally in braided hairstyles in the same exact fashions that we do today. Isn't that something? You don't see ancient Egyptians walking around with long blonde hair, or blonde hair period for that matter, or red hair for that matter. You see them portrayed most all the time in the hieroglyphs, in the murals, and the bas reliefs with braided hairstyles. That is our connection, that is our relationships to our great ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. Those who are there today are immigrants, they've migrated there, and or are invaders in that land. They are not the true people that we truly are. I rest my case. This is KSOL Black Talk Radio, hoping you like and share this video and give it a thumbs up, because overall, this is a victory for you and me. This is a victory for all of us when we can actually wear our hair naturally. And this is in the state of California. Hopefully, this message spreads like wildfire across the United States of America. Peace out.